Hi Prescott, we're out here in Chino Valley right now. We're about to do a drive-by by a U.S. Navy veteran, Lieutenant Casey. He's turning 100 years old today. So joining us is Quang Nguyen, who is our state representative-elect. And we're getting a lot of people gathering here. We're going to gather in the parking lot, and then we're going to drive by his house. We'll show you that event as time goes on. But thanks for coming out, Quang. We appreciate your time.
I really appreciate it. Lieutenant Casey is a USNA class of 44, and my daughter is class of 21. We belong to a group of, very fortunate to be adopted by a group of USNA alumni, and we've always been a part of them because Sarah is a class of 21, and so Charlie Bomberger, class of 74, started this whole thing, and it's my honor to be out here.
Well, we appreciate your time, Quang, and I got some of my favorite Oath Keepers standing around me. I got Janet and Jim, and we're all gathering around again here in the parking lot.
We're hoping for a couple of 100 cars, maybe more.
And we have the sheriff, we have the Chino Valley PD is going to be involved.
We got some Prescott PD involved.
So this is a really great way to just say thank you to one of our honored veterans here in our community.
Yeah, he earned the rights to be there, to be honored by us. So, and I'm honored to be here.
All right.
Thank you.
We'll see you out there. Thanks. All right, we got another one of our organizers, or the organizer of this. Could you state your name and let us know who you are?
My name's Charlie Bomberger. I'm a captain in the United States Navy, retired. Living in Prescott.
And living in Prescott. And so how did this all come around, Captain?
George Casey is a class of 44 graduate. We have a nice collection, about 40 graduates and alumni and parents that live in our Quad City area. And I've known that George has been a class of 44. I've met his wife and everything. So she's allowed us to have this party for him. It turned out his birthday was last Friday. John Gunby here got me a lifetime pass for, I understand he's a golfer, so we got him a lifetime pass at 100 years old for Antelope Hills, and I really thank them for doing it.
You bet.
But we just figured, class of 44, he actually served off of Guadalcanal when the battle was going on. I just can't let something like that go unnoticed.
Well, we're thankful that you didn't, because I know it's got a good group of people out here, and we're going to do a drive-by and wish him wish him happy birthday. And
he's expecting about 6 cars.
Oh yeah. Will he be surprised or what?
Oh, man, we've got more sheriff's cars than that.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, great.
Well, thank you again for your time. I know there's a lot of people want to speak to you, and thanks for putting it all together.
All right. Thank you guys for coming out today.
And thank you for your service, most of all.
Bet.
You bet, sir. Thank you. So another one of the attendees here, the Sheriff Department. Could you speak your name and what you guys are doing out here as well?
I'm Joe Youngerman. I'm the coordinator of Northern Area Command for the Volunteers for Protection. We are the auxiliary force for the Sheriff's Department. We ride and help the deputies out when they need help. All sorts of different calls, except the confrontational ones.
So how many cars you guys have here? About
we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Eight units?
8 units.
Yeah.
6 of which, or 7 of which are the VIPs.
Gotcha.
This is a non-patrol day for us, so it's we're doing it as a voluntary thing to honor this veteran who was a pilot from World War II. He's Navy, I was Marines.
Yeah.
Half the guys here were Marines.
Yeah.
No, not half. One of the other guys who bust my chops the most is a Marine. Yeah. And then the other fellas are all veterans.
Yeah.
And they're all volunteers for the Sheriff's Office.
Well, we appreciate your service, and thank you for your military service as well. And you all are going to be the lead cars on this procession.
I guess I'm going to be the lead car. They're volunteering me.
So I just talked to one of the other captains, and he says he believes Lieutenant Casey thinks there's going to be about 6 cars.
There's actually 8 of us here right now.
Yeah. No, he thought there was going to be 6 cars total. This drive-by. I'm looking at this parking lot. We're full.
It's going to be going for a while.
Yeah. Thank you again for your time. Appreciate it.
Welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome.
So we're interviewing, you are the daughter of Lieutenant Casey?
That's right.
And your name is?
Cheryl Casey.
Hey, how nice meeting you, Cheryl.
Thank
you so much for taking your time and interviewing with us. So tell us a little bit about you, and tell us a little bit about your dad.
we've lived out here in this area since the 80s. We moved from Illinois, the Chicago area. My dad was originally born in San Antonio. I work here at Yavapai College in the GED program. My dad retired, and then the whole family moved here. And that was 82 we drove out. He was retired by then. So he's been out here since then. He bought this property here because he could fly an ultralight on and off the property. So he did have an ultralight and a little hangar out here for a while because he was a pilot, an aviator. My dad loved flying, and he used to, as a kid, ride his bike down to the airfield and watch the planes take off in San Antonio area. So when he found out also that he could go to college by joining the service, he was all for it because they weren't from a super wealthy family, you know. And he had three brothers, sorry. So anyway, he joined the Navy because he wanted to go to college, really. And it was right before wartime. And he thought, hey, I'll be an aviator because he always wanted to fly. So he ended up being a naval aviator. And he was in the service, you know, I don't know all the periods of his service. He served on a destroyer in the South Pacific. And then he went to, he wanted to be, they gave, I think it was like 100 enlisted guys a year a chance at the Naval Academy if they took a test. So he started studying in the library on the ship. And then he took the test and he passed the test. So he was one of the enlisted who got into the Naval Academy.
Yeah.
And then that's where he started studying aviation. And
So he was a class of 44. He was an aviator.
yes.
And his service was in Germany at the time, or
Actually,
Pacific?
he was still training in the late part of the war in 43, 44. He got his wings right before the war ended.
Gotcha.
Or right around then. So he actually never flew in combat. He served on the destroyer in certain situations. I don't know the whole.
Gotcha.
I know his brothers one of his brothers was shot down in Germany and was a POW, and his other brother his ship got hit by a kamikaze and they all jumped off, but he was rescued.
Yeah.
So his other brother saw that kind of action.
Sure.
But my dad was not involved with those things because he was still studying.
Gotcha. Well, thank you again for taking your
Oh,
time.
I just also I'll tell you this. He flew a Stearman, and after the war, he dusted crops for many years back in Texas when he got home. So he kept flying. Thank you.
The ground looping Stearman, that's what we used to call
Yeah.
my grandfather was my wife's grandfather was a B-17 pilot, and that's what they learned on was Stearmans, and he would always talk about how they ground looped, and anyway, it's a great story, and we really appreciate you taking the time.
Oh, no problem. I appreciate
thank
all the
you,
fuss everybody's making.
Yeah, we're gonna, like I said,
think
we
he'll
wanna,
really enjoy it.
we wouldn't miss this. We really want to, say thank you to your dad and your family for all your service to our country, and
Sure.
we appreciate it.
Sure. Thank you too very much.
Thank you. There they come.
Go ahead.
Longacre, class of 2024, only 80 years after you.
Well, I got a certificate from Congressman Paul Gosar. I would love to have a picture of you holding it, if possible, for the congressman. Okay, go ahead and open it up. There you go. Just like that. Okay, ready? One, two, one more. And then I have one more thing for you. This is my daughter, U.S. Naval Academy class of 21.
That's awesome. Thank you so much.
Yay!
Yeah, he was actually class of 44, but because of the war, he graduated in 43.
Uh-huh.
So they went all through the summer and do healthcare. And he served in the Pacific. And you know, we can't thank you guys enough for putting this together.
Served on the USS Stanley, got qualified in F4 Corsairs and F6 Hellcats. Married her, you know, she was 12 years younger, so he was robbing the cradle when that happened. So, but evidently she liked a man in uniform. So, and they've only been married 67 years.
My kids, raise your hand.
Hey. Did you tell her? Grandkids.
And they were married on February 21st, which happens to be our anniversary too.
Crazy.
So we've got a couple of midshipmen here, class of 2024, that that will graduate, hopefully. 80 years after George did. So,
That's incredible. Happy birthday! Thank you. My daughter is here with her husband and she got married yesterday.
Oh, congratulations! Well, as long as we're giving coins out, you might as well have one for being a shellback too. I noticed your certificate downstairs.
And I want you to know that he 3 times a day he walks from the house out to the front.
Wow.
3 times.
To get the newspaper.
Unassisted.
No kidding.
Good for him.
I don't think I could do that.
Well,
yeah.
and her the way she introduced him to me was, she said, you know, George doesn't play well with other people, but he's out chopping wood right now. And this was when he was a sprightly 96. So must be all that arm action that keeps that blood flowing to keep you up to 100.
And the uniform still fits.
Yeah, I know it.
There you go.
Well,
I can't thank Charlie enough for putting this together for George and having my family come up, which we have not seen because of this COVID.
Right.
And so this is almost our Christmas.
Yay.
Well, Merry Christmas and happy birthday.
All right, now the reason we circled back around is obviously we need to sing a little happy birthday here more than anything. So, Wes, can you lead us with happy birthday to begin with?
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear George. Happy birthday to you.
Woo! Hey! And now we have both of our plebes here. We've got Charles Longacre and we have Nicole Babbitt too, both in the class of 2024. So,
That's terrific.
George, any words of advice for him? Just keep working hard.
One day at a time.
Your health
Yes, yes.
is so important, you know.
Yes.
Luckily, I don't have anything bothering me.
Good.
Yes, he's in pretty good health.
All right, and your name, sir, is?
My name's Fiddler, F-I-D-L-E-R.
And you live next door to
Right next
Lieutenant?
door to George Casey.
Yeah, and your service was in Korea, I take it?
Yes,
And thank you for your service, #1.
you're welcome.
And what do you think about the event today, sir?
I thought it was fantastic. It's bigger than I thought.
Yeah. Well, I think it's a celebration when one of our greatest generations that's still here,
Right.
you know, celebrating that 100th birthday.
Yes.
That's quite a feat.
Absolutely. Ever since I known George, he always wanted to live to be 100 years old.
So, yeah.
He made it.
He made it. That's great.
I don't think I'll be here for when he turns 200, but you know,
You never know.
you
huh?
never know.
Well, again, what kind of neighbor is George? I mean, can you tell us a little bit about him, or?
What about George?
Yeah.
Yeah, George is kind of a private person. I knew he flew fighters during a war. I didn't know until yesterday that he flew Corsairs. I didn't know that. I asked him one time if he flew a P-51. He said no, he never had a chance to fly a P-51.
Yeah.
But he said, I'll tell you this much, when you sit behind 2,000 horsepower and you throw the throttle open, it's impressive. You know, boy, you go right now.
Yeah, I bet. All right. Well, thank you so much for taking your time. We
Hey,
appreciate
thank
it, sir.
you.
Thank you for your service.
You're welcome.
You bet.
Walk and brag. Football you cannot play. Army mule, army mule. Honky, 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 army mule.
I don't know that song,
All right, George, you remember the words.
but I remember the other two.
And then the fight song. Standing down the field, sails into the sky. We'll never change our course, so Army you steer shy. Roll out the score, Navy, anchors away. Sail Navy down the field and sink the Army gray. Go Navy! Army! And of course, the alma mater, which is? Everybody stand.
At attention. College men from sea to sea, they sing of colors true. But who has better right than we to hoist a sailor's view? For sailormen in battle fare, since fighting days of old, have proved the sailor's right to wear the navy blue and gold. Fiddler!
That was awesome.
All right.
Well, thank you again, Prescott, for tuning in. We appreciate you taking the time and, celebrating this hero from our World War II era, the greatest generation, the outpouring of love and concern for with this community. Okay, the outpouring of love and honor from this community, again, just shows you again what kind of community we live here in Prescott. It's like every time it's like an awe. So. With that, I always like to close it out to thanking our current and prior serving military for giving us the freedom to do this, our law enforcement and firefighters, and a special happy birthday, George. We appreciated your service and thank you.